The skies over Europe in World War II were more than just a battlefield. They were an arena of pride, innovation, and survival. German pilots, flying their sleek Messerschmitts and deadly Focke-Wulfs, considered themselves kings of the air. They prided themselves on speed, agility, and precision. And when they first heard of the American P-47 Thunderbolt, their reaction was almost universal: laughter. To them, the P-47 was too big, too heavy, and far too clumsy to be taken seriously. They mocked it as a flying barrel, a lumbering beast that could never match the elegance of their own machines. But the laughter didn't last. The P-47 Thunderbolt was unlike anything else in the sky. Nicknamed the Jug because of its bulky frame, it wasn't built to win beauty contests. It was built to survive and to kill. Its designers at Republic Aviation created an aircraft that was massive by fighter standards, powered by the roaring Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp engine. This monster of power plant gave the Jug unmatched durability and speed at high altitudes. It could climb, it could dive, and it could keep flying even after absorbing damage that would rip other fighters to shreds. Yet at first, many American pilots doubted it too. Used a lighter, more nimble aircraft like the P-40 or the Spitfire, they questioned whether this brute could really dance in the deadly skies above Europe. Some even wondered if it was more bomber than fighter. The Germans certainly thought so. For them, every sighting of the P-47 was an opportunity to mock the Allies' engineering choices. But the Germans had overlooked something. The Jug wasn't designed to fight like their nimble fighters. It was designed to fight on American terms, with American firepower. Beneath its wings and in its wings were 8 Browning .50 caliber machine guns, a devastating arsenal that could shred enemy aircraft in a single burst. The Thunderbolt didn't need to outturn a Messerschmitt. It only needed to bring its guns to bear, and when it did, the result was terrifying. The stage was set. German pilots laughed at the Jug. But soon, their laughter would be drowned out by the deafening roar of .50 caliber fire raining down from above. The first time German pilots realized their mistake came in the form of a surprise. They had grown accustomed to Allied fighters that struggled above 20,000 feet, but the P-47 was different. With its turbo-supercharged engine, it thrived in the thin, freezing air where bombers flew. Escorts that were once vulnerable to high-altitude attacks now had a guardian. German aces would dive toward American bombers, only to find a flying barrel screaming down from even higher, guns blazing. Those 8.50 caliber machine guns weren't just intimidating. They were devastating. A single 2-second burst spat nearly 100 rounds, each with enough power to chew through armor, rip wings apart, and ignite fuel tanks. Pilots described the sensation as unleashing a waterfall of fire. German aircraft, elegant but often lightly armored, disintegrated under the Thunderbolt's fury. Many Luftwaffe veterans who mocked the Jug soon discovered that trying to face it head-on was suicide. But the Thunderbolt's role wasn't confined to air-to-air combat. It became one of the deadliest ground attack aircraft of the war. Its rugged frame could carry bombs, rockets, and fuel tanks, transforming it into a flying tank capable of smashing enemy supply lines. German troops nicknamed it the Butcher, and for good reason. Columns of armor that once advanced confidently across Europe soon found themselves vulnerable from above, torn apart by the Jug's relentless strikes. American pilots came to love the Thunderbolt for one reason above all: survival. Many returned from missions with wings shredded, tails nearly gone, engines burning, and bullet holes stitched across the fuselage. Yet the Jug brought them home. Stories spread of pilots limping back over the channel in machines that should have fallen from the sky. One even landed with half a tail and an entire cylinder blown off the engine. For young flyers facing the lethal experience of air combat, the Jug's toughness meant hope. Still, the Germans weren't quick to surrender the skies. They adjusted tactics, sending in their fastest and best-trained aces to try to neutralize a new threat. But the Thunderbolt had shifted the balance. With its blend of firepower, altitude performance, and sheer survivability, it forced the Luftwaffe into a deadly game it could not afford to play. The laughter had faded, replaced by a grim realization. The Jug was a predator. By 1944, the P-47 Thunderbolt was no longer a curiosity or the butt of German jokes. It was a symbol of relentless power in the skies. When American bombers set their course for Berlin, the Jug was there, waiting high above like a steel guardian. Luftwaffe pilots who once dove with confidence now hesitated, knowing a storm of lead could descend on them in seconds. The Thunderbolt had mastered the art of the dive. German fighters, lighter and more agile, relied on tight turns to outmaneuver opponents. But when the Jug rolled over and plunged, it dropped like a hammer from heaven. At over 500 miles per hour, its massive frame became a projectile. Few German aircraft could escape that kind of pursuit. And when the Jug pulled the trigger, 8 streams of fire cut through the sky like blades of light. Pilots often describe the sound as thunder itself, the Jug living up to its name. Its legend grew not just in duels with German fighters, but in the terror it unleashed on the ground. The roads of Normandy, the forests of the Ardennes, the villages of occupied Europe, all bore scars of Thunderbolt strikes. Tanks burned, trains derailed, and convoys scattered under its relentless attacks. The same German soldiers who once mocked its bulk learned to dive for cover at the distant roar of its engine. For the pilots who flew it, the Jug became a trusted companion. Some even said it felt less like a plane and more like a fortress with wings. The Luftwaffe, already stretched thin, bled precious aces against an aircraft that refused to die. By the time the war turned against Germany, the Thunderbolt had carved out its place as a nightmare in the minds of Axis airmen. And so, the laughter faded into silence. What began as ridicule ended in respect and fear. The P-47 Thunderbolt, mocked as a flying barrel, became one of the most successful fighters of the war, credited with thousands of kills in the air and untold destruction on the ground. It proved that brute strength, raw firepower, and durability could be just as deadly as speed and elegance. In the end, the Jug didn't just protect the bombers. It helped break the back of the Luftwaffe. It became the thunder that rolled across Europe, a machine that German pilots would never laugh at again.